All right, guys, here we are to talk about episode 1 of season 3, Izombie.
Holy shit.
It has returned.
The show's back. We said we'd keep watching it. I didn't think they'd make any more, though. So I don't know how I feel about the whole thing.
So they're jumping all kinds of sharks in this season.
Well, okay. It seems that way.
We've got
sure.
a paramilitary group starting their own island.
All right. Yes, we do.
They're all zombies.
Let's take a quick step back.
Sure.
Because, like, we watched season 1.
Yes.
We watched season 2.
Yes.
We then did other shit with our lives or whatever. Then we heard it's coming back, and we said we're going to watch it or whatever. We never, like, recorded, or I never thought about, like, where did that show, like, end up? So the first fucking part of this episode was this wild ride of, like, oh, yeah, holy shit. Oh, yeah, holy shit. Oh, my God. What? Yeah, Major. Oh, God, Major's unfrozen hooker is MIA. I forgot, because she does this, like, recap super early on for that very purpose. But it was super over the top and, like, hilariously, like, outlandishly, like, oh yeah, Gilda/Rita, and she's dead now, and, like, Vaughn did whatever is dead. And I'm like, fuck.
Yes. The things we have to walk into from last season are any moment now Major could die.
They do highlight this.
That's still a thing. Our boy, what's his face?
Which they could have just not mentioned. It's a new season, so obviously this is coming into play.
Of course.
Yes.
What's Blaine? What's his name?
Blaine, the dude.
Blaine.
The guy we like, the guy.
No memory of what his actions are, but he's starting to come across. He still might be a love interest of Peyton.
Yes.
Peyton and Ravi, maybe not working out as we would have liked. Ravi, nothing seems to have changed with.
Did you, like, remember? Well, he's not making many jokes. That's the fucking thing.
He didn't make really any jokes this season. This episode, rather.
I know. It's fucking weak-ass whatever episode for him. Did you, how much do you recall about that event that they mentioned 10 times where, like, Blaine goes in with night vision goggles and, like,
oh, yeah, he destroyed the whole thing.
Yeah, and Ravi was outside and all that shit, and that must feel like shit. That's not, that sucks. I don't know if you could have won Peyton back with that necessarily, because they have their own fucking history and, like, weirdness or whatever. Do you think Blaine really doesn't have his memory?
I do. I do think he doesn't
think so, too.
Because Scott E.
Don
E. Was working him over pretty hard.
That was awesome.
And yeah, I didn't hate that. It just
but now
a lot happening.
But now he's acting like he does have his memory, but is acting like he doesn't have his memory.
I don't think it's that he's acting like he has him or doesn't have his memory. I think it's that he's becoming himself. And with or without his memory, he is a scammer, like that kind of person.
Oh yeah.
He's cold-blooded, regardless. The idea that Donnie has his daddy is interesting.
Yes. But that was kind of what I meant. Was like, Donnie's laying into him really thick about, like, you remember this? Fuck you. You're just faking. And he, like, picks up on it and, like, says, like, well, hey, and starts to play with it. Whereas before he was just like, what? No, and was very much
I think that's just
nodded,
because that's him.
That's what I mean. No. I don't think he really has his memory. I think, like, he is now pretending to have his memory because he's like recognizing that it would be helpful for him or like whatever.
Yeah.
I do wonder about the brain and how that's all changing and all that shit because they did all that dumb shit with the brain in the fucking tube and all that stuff with the mice.
Yeah,
or
what the fuck is that? How would you even know if mice still had a memory?
All that's fucking crazy and weird, and what does that mean, and why are you injecting a brain, and what's going on? This is crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Blaine's dad. That's
Blaine's dad. So what I was
point.
Picturing as a humorous thing, I thought he was just going to leave the door open so his dad was going to defrost and then, like, just be like a nightmare because he's like, oh, I know you didn't like your dad. Enjoy this shit. You didn't remember why he's gone, but here he is.
Right.
That didn't happen. He's, like, actually using him and plotting with him as a plan to destroy him as he dries him.
I liked that scene. When it, like, pans up of, like, space heaters and he has, like, he's wearing, like, sandals, I think. He's just this, like, dude, and then he's just on the couch. And he's like, well, as I can't move, I guess I'll be forced to listen to your plan. All those things, him really dry and all that stuff. I really enjoyed that interaction. That's going to go in a whole direction I'm sure that I'm not going to like. But I really like that little slice of those two dudes, like, playing off of each other and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that actor.
You're not thinking, yeah, I know. I like his, like, whatever.
Did you watch Prison Break?
You're not thinking big enough. Hell no.
He was one of the best characters in Prison Break.
I've heard good things
He's
about
in
Prison Break.
every season.
How many seasons of Prison Break are there?
4.
80? Oh, my God.
4, then a movie, and now it's coming back after, like, a 6-year hiatus.
why does this keep happening to me?
Because life is good. That's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure.
Every show that I want to watch has too many episodes for me to ever possibly watch.
Yeah, and that's like 22 episode seasons.
Oh my god, what are we doing this for time?
Did you know which show I was talking about? Both of them.
What do you mean, which show?
You named Supernatural after the fact.
Oh, no, I didn't. I was assuming you were talking about Prison Break.
I am.
They're both like
They're both
shows
22s.
That's a deal breaker, my friend.
That is. But no, he's good. He plays Teabag in Prison Break, and he's amazing.
Teabag?
Yeah,
That's
Theodore
great.
Baggins.
Really?
Yeah, Teabag.
Okay.
Or Bagwell. Theodore Bagwell.
There you go. Baggins would be fine.
Yeah.
Baggins would be too much.
But
I like shows that have 13 episodes like Izombie.
Yeah, now.
Okay.
So that's going to be a joy. That's is 6 less episodes than last season.
Yeah, okay, so we should just, because we said this off camera.
Is it weird that even if I like, and I'm not super crazy about the show right now, but even when I like a show, I'm like, I like when it's short. Just get it.
I just said all that shit about that. I like Stranger Things. I like fucking shows that have like 10 episodes. Just do it and let me do it and fucking go. I don't need to 22 episodes in a season, like being like, oh, people, hey, 24. I don't know how many episodes are in 24. I hope it's 24. But like people like recommend these shows and they're like, well, it's on Netflix, and then you're like, oh, let me just check this out. Oh, 176 episodes, fucking great. What am I gonna take a week off of work, or like a month off of work, and just
when
watch
a show
this
is great
full
though,
time?
I do enjoy there being a lot of it.
In theory, yes, but as like a busy young man who has to like figure out what to do with my time or something like that, because like I've like started watching things and then I can't maintain the schedule and I kind of like forget what's going on, and you're like, well, fuck, now I've just wait. But if it's like 10, I can be like, okay, like this is a chunk that I can do, okay. Or even like how many is Breaking Bad? That that's like smaller,
4?
right? 3 or 4 episodes, Stefan?
3 or 4 seasons?
It's like 5.5 or 6, like.
Oh, it's 6 fake ones.
But I think, yeah, because they split the second one. But I think the like split one is like 8 and 8, and the rest are like 10 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of those shows are like 12 is fine, like the new Defenders type shows on Netflix. 12, 13, and 8 to like 15 is like my thing. Once you go over that, once you have 10 seasons of that, it just gets immeasurably fucked. And last season for Izombie, because the first season was 13 and it had its arc, season 2 was 19, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 19. 19.
We felt a serious like cradle.
Well, because they were fighting to even make content.
Like,
it seemed.
Yeah. So
13 more manageable.
We're looking forward to maybe this being a nice, more consistent ride with the 13 episodes.
Yeah. But so in this season now, we have this paramilitary group that is establishing their foothold on a fucking island. We have people killing zombies. We have a man on the fucking radio toting how there are zombies to like an Alex Jones type character.
Yeah, dude, you're going way too fast. So many things here. The episode opens with like 2.8 minutes later or whatever the fuck, and immediately the leader of the paramilitary zombie organization is barking shit at like the camera, and I'm like, wait a minute, who the fuck is that? It was this crazy wild ride because they pick up right at that fucking Max Rager party.
They blow up the Max Rager party, so there's no evidence.
We think of everything. Or whatever the fuck. But that whole thing, like, I forgot most of what happened. I was, like, blissfully unaware. I, like, expected to turn this on and have her eating a brain. What powers and, like, memory am I getting this week, Clive? Like, it was going to be this normal fucking thing.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. Clive knows about the zombies.
Clive's now, like,
major loss of memory.
Yeah,
all this fucking shit has happened. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, And then like
there's too much, Stefan.
But like every show that's bad, they also throw in shit where it's like, oh, good. So like he just happens to know a kid that's in this thing that is the kid that dies in the first episode.
Crazy.
Like it's just too much. Why do they insult our intelligence with shit like this? I hate it.
I don't understand why they needed to do that. I guess to get
they
Clive.
didn't.
Well, okay, so whenever I say that, I mean I don't understand why they thought they needed to do this.
What would have been the best way to do this, right, is do not have Clive notice anybody. Do not have anything. Treat it like a very normal case. She goes to eat the brains of one of these people and goes like, and like gets nothing from it. She's like, this is a dead brain. And then realizes it's a zombie. Someone killed a zombie. Oh my, they pulled the nails off? Oh my, because they're zombies. It wasn't a serial killer who's crazy. It was someone taking away their ability to make fucking more things. Now they can, I wonder if they can use the nails now separately and make
that
zombies.
Was a whole weird thing too, where that became like they're driving home the scratch and nail point a lot here, the comment the guy makes, and then that's stuff. I don't know how that works like physically.
It's like, fing,
yeah,
a little coke nail pops out.
Is it an actual thing? Is it
like the shittiest Wolverine
entomological thing, or is it a fucking I don't know. I thought like wounds could get stuff in it that would turn you into it, and that's why sex does that.
Well, when they say 3, they think they're 3 scratching nails. I picture that's just your 3 center ones. You're not really scratching your thumb. Your pinky's too tiny.
Yeah.
And like just by odds, which one could get turned into a weapon? Probably the 3 biggest ones.
But like they didn't like take them off of like a like living, like it's not like taking a vampire's fangs out to like humiliate them and make them like useless and starve to death or whatever. This he was already dead. They just did it to like indicate like I know that he could scratch someone. I thought it was really weird.
Well, in case of post-mortem scratches, I have no idea.
Really, really, really weird. Unless, like I think you were about to say, maybe they can use those nails now without him or something. They're gonna fill them.
But if your goal was to kill all zombies, why do you want the ability to make zombies? Yeah. So I thought maybe it's more of a like these could scratch somebody else, or if it's like a reverse thing, like these nails used on you cause a double infection, and now you're fucked.
I think that we're meant to take this, at face value, which is someone's killing zombies, and they want people who know about zombies to know that they know that these people were zombies.
You think you're going to have a guy who's like a crazy Vietnam vet hunter who has a necklace of fingernails?
That would be a nice payoff, like guitar picks or whatever.
Like how you would cut it like an elf's ears off. Like, got elf ears. Or like, a rabbit's foot. I got a baggie full of fingernails.
A bunch of my fingernails.
That way you just look creepy.
Like Dexter's blood slides. I take them out and I count them sometimes. Oh, that's a good one. So that was weird, ham-fisted, right? Came out of left field.
Sure.
The fact that Clive ever knows anybody is always treated horribly. Where he's like, I have a friend who's in the Yakuza, or that stuff, or whatever.
How did you like the whole thing that was like we were at a family picnic? They were all going to die. I had to turn 1,000 people all at once.
Yeah, that was weird.
I briefed them so they knew what they were getting into. What does that mean?
That was really weird. I don't know. Like, unless there's like another shoe that's going to drop where like not everybody was down with it and they died and there's a weird faction that doesn't like her for something or like regrets it, then I really don't see why you needed all that. I guess you could just like, why not just say like, well, there's underground channels now if you like just look for missing brains and then you can find the zombies, and I've scooped them up like Professor X and tried to get them all here.
I wonder because she has like 1,000+ people.
Did she say that, or are you just?
She said the picnic had 1,000 women, children, families, and soldiers or whatever. So like she has literally like 1,000 people. And like, how many brains do you require to eat? How often to live? Like, how many brains are they really going through? That
Liv seems to need a brain a week, maybe less, 2 weeks.
I feel like maybe 2
Something
weeks.
Like that.
I don't know. It's a weird thing where just logistics start to come around. And you're like, I don't know. If you have your own island, like, what is the benefit of that? Like, just so you can eat them out in public at the commissary?
Yeah, it's like defensible, and they can really be them there and not be afraid. We can self-segregate. Where were her terms? That's the whole thing is fucking super crazy, and I don't like it and all that stuff. Let's just get that out of the way.
Sure.
Totally. Don't worry about that part.
Where does one even acquire an island?
In Seattle, off of the Seattle Sound or whatever.
Yeah, like the most expensive area possible.
I have no idea how they have an island. Whatever.
Also, the coincidence that her husband was killed by Blaine.
Right? Yeah. And they laid that out so they laid that out so much that I was like, were we supposed to like know him? Were we supposed to remember him?
Yeah, it was very thick.
Was he one of those guys that we should know? I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't recall ever seeing her, but my memory is also shit, and it was a year ago, so whatever.
They should have flashback if so. If not, it's a lot of details.
It's a weird pull, yeah.
They should have just said $25,000, a brain or like a week or a month or whatever he was charging, and that would have been like, oh fuck. Being black-brained for $25,000, that's Blaine. She's gonna, if she knows who Blaine is, maybe she could see Blaine now and be like, oh fuck. And he's like, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Nah, that won't work for him. You kill someone's husband, they're gonna kill you.
Probably.
Period. So what else happens in this episode? I'm sure.
Well, the next thing you got to was Chuck Bird. I love Chuck Bird. I love the idea of this fake Rush Limbaugh Alex Jones in this universe who's like, I know the truth. I have the documents. Tune in later. We're going to do a thing. Oh, man. That's amazing.
I was all geared up for it to be some fake thing, and I'm like, oh, no, that guy actually was there.
I know.
He was a security guard.
Yeah.
He did lock the door and leave them to die in there.
They really should have done like a misdirection with that, right? Where like, because everything was set up perfectly for them to burst in the door and have it be something else. I really thought, because like he paused.
It was goats wearing tinfoil hats.
Like he paused and came back and paused, and they kept cutting back, and I really expected them to run in with the badge and be like, no, and then he'd be like, vampires, Chuck, vampires everywhere, and you're
Yeah.
like, ah, ha, 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 you got me, show. There was nothing to worry about, but then it turned out it was literally yes.
Forgot
and
all about
literally
that
them.
guy.
Yeah, it's like fuck.
And that'll be interesting. And like they
Even
did
if it was
add
the
credibility.
guy, I was hoping he would, he would have like misinterpreted like the events or whatever.
But
and just
what is
turned it
the
into a
like?
thing.
What was your point in stifling this? You're not actually going to stop a man who wants to talk. And B,
No, it's
now you
horrible.
just make it seem like, yeah, it's 100% true. Look, a cop who was there that night
Which
just
he
tried to
says,
stop
and
me.
then nothing comes of it. Seemingly,
Yeah,
I have no
fucking
idea.
weird.
No, really, really weird choice. That totally should have been the misdirect, awkward, sorry. But then Chuck goes like, "Why were they people here?" And then he starts to dig more, and then it becomes a thing, right? Kind of writes itself in a way.
It always makes me mad when, like, and of course hindsight's 20/20, but it's hindsight on something
Absolutely
you
not.
wrote. It's not like, oh, I didn't know how that was gonna work. Blah blah blah. You wrote it.
You had front
You
and hindsight.
You had 7 people in a room all going, how about this? And you went, no, how about this? And chose poorly.
Well, and if you're gonna if you do like the classic setup, but they don't have the classic punchline, you can do that if you have like a reason and like a
Yeah.
because of that. Never suspect this.
I would like to just come in after the fact, read scripts, and be like, change this a little bit.
I think you can get paid for doing that, and it's called being a punch-up guy.
Yeah, I want to be a punch-up guy.
We are awesome punchers.
I want to punch the shit out of somebody.
Awesome Punchers Incorporated.
Anything else of note to talk about in this episode here, Lee?
They mentioned a million fucking things.
Any of those of note?
17 doses of the cure, and he runs down the whole thing with the exposition.
Sure.
Oh, Major's got to choose between losing his memory and don't worry, I have a fucking thing.
No, and only 17 cures, that's nothing when you have so many people that, A, the whole world can be infected in a short time, and B, there's just more than that in enemies now. Like, it's
Yeah.
not actually a weapon or anything that helpful.
No, and like they're at this critical mass, like it really, like the contrast between like having all this, because like they had like a season off, I think to figure out what this shadow zombie organization was going to be, and they chose to make it like a school classroom, dudes running at like Professor X's whatever,
Fillmore
and like
Graves,
Starship Trooper dudes running, and then fucking this whole thing with I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm trying to cover up. It's not working out.
It's working. It's working perfectly.
It's working perfect. Just like stall like a little longer, and we'll see if we can go through the thing. They had all that time to figure all that out and to set that up, and it ended up being this crazy, like, outlandish thing that stacked up against all these seasons of, like, we need the cure, we have the cure doesn't work, let's test the cure, he stole the cure, you broke the cure, what's the cure, the cure.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just like, you could cure people and they could just accidentally become a zombie again on the way home. Like, there's so many zombies. Zombies are everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like, the game is about the cure anymore. But I still think the season or series finale will be some sort of weird thing that, like, sprays cure everywhere and
Yeah, I
everyone's
was going to say
cured or something
gas-based
like that.
cure.
Yeah, like something like that's obviously going to happen eventually. But until then, this whole game of like, well, maybe we can stretch these 17 doses to like 23 doses if we use this, if we water it down.
Yeah.
It's like like the scale is so out because you have like
It's impossible to contain now.
You have rogue zombies, professional zombies, bad zombies.
How many
trying
more
to make
people
other
being
zombies.
framed are there just floating out in the world?
Yeah, it's like fucking crazy.
They call her out on, like, you should tan, bitch.
And that's classic, right? The repetition, the whole thing, and everyone else looking totally normal, and then her being the only weird looking one at a place full of zombies.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
But this was an episode.
I hope she doesn't start tanning and dying though.
No,
because
she
she
did that
looked-
once enough, and that was weird.
She looked really weird. Am I just being weird about it? She looked really
No,
weird.
I didn't like her tan. I think
was
it's
not a
like when
fan
you
of
see
that.
someone with glasses for a long time, and you finally
Take
see
their
them out,
glasses
you're
off,
like,
and you're
"Oh,
like,
what are
wow,
serial
you should put
killer?"
those back on your face. Immediately. So super max powered zombies,
Yeah.
zombie kids.
Zombie kids is
Jump
weird
in
because they
wherever you
are going
want.
to school and stuff, and I'm like, they're not going to age ever. So
Do they-
why even bother learning?
Learning's important, but
Not if you can never do anything with it ever.
well, it's gonna be weird, right? Because they're not growing up.
When you're an 8-year-old forever, you're trapped forever. The only
Yeah.
bonus you have is that your parents are also trapped forever.
How is that a bonus?
Well, if your parents were to die like normal and you stayed 8, you could never actually get an apartment or anything. If your
Sure.
parents live forever, at least you have someone who cares about
Just
you
have
and
a
can help you.
Have a zombie roommate.
I suppose.
Get adopted. Keep traversing, braining all around.
No.
No, like that should, is always interesting when like usually vampire stuff does that, where you have like the young vampire who's actually old and they get some cool kid actress or actor to play them, and it's this cool thing. But with zombies, I mean, still the rules are so ill-defined. I mentioned the supermax powered zombies or whatever because they actually call out. It's really weird because on this show, zombies go full-blown zombie mode or whatever. They don't need to have like performance-enhancing drugs or something like that. It seems really weird.
Well, Major took that performance-enhancing drug and it made him like an actual superhero without hulking out. Yeah. When they zombie mode, they lose their like cognizance.
I know, yeah.
So it's nice to go zombie mode without being a zombie.
Okay. I hope that they draw that line and it's not just like, well, zombies are normal until we drink this drink or whatever. Why is there still an energy drink? And her office is just, Vaughn's office with like different shit on the wall.
Yeah. More or less.
Fine. But
so many things were just Vaughn's office with different shit on the wall.
Vaughn's section of like whatever.
I think that's about all the interesting things that happened in this episode.
Pretty much. We've touched on all the major stuff. They planted a seed with the CDC lady.
Yeah.
Ravi's old boss shows up.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, and I'm like, all right, how's this going to play out? But
well, okay,
it didn't really interest me either, so I'm like, well, we'll see where it goes. I'm not like, oh, how's that going to happen?
This show's not supposed to be serious, but for contrast, like on like Dexter, there's a part where like a like hotshot profiler from like the FBI shows up, and now you're like, oh, this season's going to be about this person, and it's a game of cat and mouse and all that stuff. And here it's just like, that's my old boss, the one that fired me. We don't like that person. And then like 3 seconds later, is this brain matter in the digestive tract? And I'm like, oh god, the game of cat and mouse is this is the lamest game of cat and mouse ever.
I wonder once digested if brain matter can be distinguished between different things. Like I know about microscopes and whatnot, you could be like, this is human, but I want you to be like goat.
Oh, at that point, yeah, right. And is it really
it's fucking
clear?
Chewed and like digested?
And mixed with hot sauce usually.
Yeah. Oh well, this episode, we'll see you for episode 2, and we'll see where it really goes. Until next time, guys, don't die in a fire, and we'll see you then.